In the opening scene, the main character Vesper, accompanied by a flying drone controlled by her father, scavenges in the mud for edible roots. After unearthing some food, the girl returns home, cautiously avoiding the tendrils of predatory plants emerging from the ground. Inside, she prepares a nutritious mixture, pours it into a bag, and hangs it next to her ailing father, feeding him through a tube. After taking care of her dependent, the heroine heads to the laboratory, accompanied by a telepathically controlled drone operated by her father. Inside, the girl converses with the desiccated corpse of time, collecting the necessary instruments for her own scientific experiments. Her focus is interrupted by a suspicious noise outside, originating from one of the pilgrims, afflicted individuals collecting odds and ends and carrying them away. Upon returning home, Vesper notices that someone has breached the defense of predatory tendrils. With a knife in hand, she sneaks into the house, but finds it empty. However, some things are damaged, including the generator that supports her father's life support system. The girl seeks help in nearby settlements, where she witnesses a horrific scene. Locals with signs of genetic degeneration on their faces surround the wounded Jag, an artificially grown creature for labor. The village elder, Jonas, appears and compels the guilty party in the incident to finish off the injured Jag to end its suffering. Though not immediately, the person complies, wielding a knife to dispatch the worker. Instructing to remove the body, Jonas converses with Vesper, who is his niece. The girl asks her uncle for the necessary repair parts, but he refuses to help for free, citing harsh times. To obtain assistance, she offers her blood in exchange. Jonas uses her blood in trade with the Citadel. When she asks for payment, her uncle instructs her to return in a couple of days, insisting that she first sells her blood. However, her father won't last, so she tries to take the liquid, but fails. Jonas throws her out onto the street, where his children laugh at her. Later, Vesper returns to the village to sneak inside. When attempting to enter unnoticed, she encounters one of Jonas's children, the boy who took blood from his finger. However, he remains silent, allowing the heroine to proceed with her plan. In addition to the generator parts, she also steals seeds, from which Jonas unsuccessfully tries to grow crops. On her way back, Vesper sees a glider falling from the sky but pays no attention to it. At home, she shows her father the stolen seeds, expressing her intention to genetically unlock them to allow for natural reproduction. The next day, while exploring, the girl finds an injured woman dressed in Citadel attire. She is surrounded by blood-sucking plants. Noticing that the woman is still breathing, Vesper detaches the leech-like tendrils and drags the body home, where she treats the wounds and removes the parasites. The father is unhappy that she brought a stranger. The heroine believes she did the right thing. The saved woman could be her ticket to a better life within the Citadel walls. Meanwhile, a woman named Camellia regains consciousness and hides a knife under the pillow. She asks Vesper about her companion and insists on finding him. Contrary to her father's words, Vesper promises to locate the second passenger in the morning, as it is not appropriate to venture out at night. In the evening, the girl attempts to feed the guest, but Tanya is accustomed to eating scavenged leeches and caterpillars, even if carefully selected. Camellia says that her father is a big shot and will help them, while Vesper reveals that her father was a Citadel soldier until he was wounded. The drone is all the employers rewarded him with for his service. Suddenly, the patient has a seizure. Camellia calms him with a kiss, after which he falls into a deep sleep. In the morning, the heroine, accompanied by the drone, sets out to search for the crashed glider. Following the debris, she finds the wreckage below. Vesper doesn't have time to open the door when Jonas and his men appear. Seeing an injured man from the Citadel inside, Jonas, instead of offering help, strangles him, ignoring the tears and pleas of his niece. Understanding that the second passenger is somewhere, the uncle asks the girl if she has met anyone, but she keeps silent to protect Camellia. Returning home, she lies to her father and the guests, saying she found nothing. At night, Vesper leads Camellia to her garden, where she has genetically engineered plants. She wants to demonstrate her value as a geneticist so that Camellia can put in a good word for her in the Citadel. In the house, the girl tells her about her mother, who once fell ill and left with the pilgrims. Then, they examine a book about animals. Camellia, raised in more favorable conditions, tells the girl about the habits of extinct creatures. After agreeing with her father that people from the Citadel should be called for Camellia, the next day, the girl tries to break into her uncle's house, the only one in the area with communication equipment. The drone goes on a reconnaissance mission but falls into the hands of Jonas. He delves into its internals when Vesper arrives. Uncle inquires why she came and is unaware of who stole his seeds. He even had to punish the watchman on duty that day. Frightened by his ominous tone, Vesper seizes the drone at the first opportunity and escapes. Jonas follows, whistling a command to his sons. In the forest, the heroine launches the drone into flight, but after the repair, it can barely maintain balance. It falls down, and the girl descends after it, stumbling upon the body of a dead boy, the one who didn't raise the alarm earlier. Soon the boys sent after her appear, chasing Vesper and eventually catching her. While two hold her, the third brands her hand with molten iron. At home, the heroine, in distraught feelings, tries to fix the drone. Camellia consoles her, and eventually, the girl confesses to her that her father, the second passenger of the glider, is dead. She leads the guest into the woods, where his body lies in the swamp. Vesper notices scars on Camelia's back and realizes that she is an artificially created jag, unique in her kind, endowed, unlike others, with full consciousness and personality. Together with her creator, she fled for violating the law regarding sentient jags. Vesper understands that Camellia won't take her to the Citadel since she cannot return there herself. This infuriates her, and she throws mud at the woman. Returning to her father, the heroine recounts what happened. He notes that the girls still need to flee. Jonas has marked her as prey, and he will punish her for theft. While they converse, Camellia in another room tries to take her own life with a hidden knife but misses. Upon hearing the cry, Vesper rushes in and disrupts the attempt. Reconciling, the girl asks Camellia for permission to explore her genetic material. In Vesper's DNA, a blocked code is found. Much like the seeds of plants devoid of reproductive capabilities, Camellia simultaneously reveals that her creator treated her not as a daughter, but as a spouse. Recalling him, the guest starts playing a local version of the harp. DNA suddenly wrecks to certain notes, and with their help, Vesper manages to unlock the code. By adding Camellia's genetic material to the seeds, Uraini succeeds in removing the block on reproduction from them. This discovery fundamentally changes the entire system of commodity relations, leading to a disruption of the economy and the established world order. Upon learning this, Vesper's father insists that she and Camellia go to another citadel and exchange the unlocked seeds for a safe refuge. To conclude the experiments, the girl heads to the laboratory. At that moment, Jonas arrives at the house and finds Camellia there. He suggests she go with him, threatening to kill her sick brother if she refuses. However, noticing that she is not human but a jag, Jonas attempts to assault her first and then kill her. Vesper and the drone return, interrupting him. A fight ensues between Jonas and the girls, ending when they pin his hand to the table with a knife. The niece proposes a deal to her uncle. He leaves them alone, and in return, they provide him with the unlocked seeds. This way, he can have his own harvest and won't have to collect children's blood for trade with the Citadel. However, upon returning to the village, the man contacts the Citadel through the transmitter and reports the escaped jag. In the evening, while Vesper is conducting experiments, the house comes under attack. Initially, a substance resembling rapidly spreading mold seeps through the crack under the door. People take cover under the table, but it keeps encroaching. At the last moment, the mold suddenly freezes and starts dissipating into a poisonous but quickly dispersing smoke. Understanding that soldiers will follow, the father urges his daughter and Camellia to flee into the garden. He will try to persuade his former colleagues that there is no one else here. Meanwhile, soldiers visit Jonas's house. He comes out to meet them and, without a word, receives a bullet in the head, arguably deservedly as an unnecessary witness. The drone encounters a soldier near the generator, which explodes after a shot, engulfing not only Vesper's father in flames, but also the soldiers who came for his soul. Seeing the blaze, Vesper, in tears, retreats, but Camellia restrains her and brings her back to her senses. They continue their journey to the garden, but silent Citadel forces are already on their trail. Vesper uses her knowledge of the terrain and plant features to lure one of them into a trap between the red bushes. If disturbed, a swarm of aggressive fireflies will pierce the intruder with their stingers. It works with the first soldier, but the second bypasses the bushes, searching for runaways. The girls hide behind the bushes until another plant reveals their presence with its squeal. The soldier returns, and a fight ensues between them. Vesper splatters the glass of the soldier's helmet with mud, causing him to injure his gun. Picking it up, the girl doesn't know how to shoot, but she cleverly throws it into the bushes. The agitated swarm of fireflies rises from the thicket and attacks the immobilized soldier. Camellia realizes that the soldiers won't stop pursuing her and suggests they split up. In tears, Vesper pleads for her to stay and not abandon her, but using a sedative kiss, Camellia puts the girl to sleep. Covering her body with dry leaves, Camellia goes to the garden, where the soldiers find her. Waking up in the forest the next morning, Vesper returns to the ashes where her home once stood. She plants several seeds in the charred soil. While engaged in this activity, she encounters 4 children of Jonas, miraculously surviving the night purge. When Vesper goes in search of a new citadel, they follow her. The children travel through the country, joining a group of pilgrims carrying collected garbage in a known direction. After a few days, the travelers reach a massive makeshift tower built by pilgrims, with a tent city at its base. Approaching the tower, Vesper realizes that her journey is almost over. Leaving her companions below, the girl climbs up the fragile structure of the tower. Almost slipping in the process, she reaches the very top, to the observation platform, towering above the surrounding forests. She looks around and notices giant domes of another citadel nearby. However, instead of descending and heading there, Vesper takes out the unlocked seeds and throws them into the wind, allowing it to scatter them far and wide, sowing the nearby lands. And there, over time, vegetables and fruits may spread across the entire land once again.